Okay, welcome everybody to day 12 of the Great Reset, and we're going to be talking about movement. Whoop, 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 whoop. So, move it or lose it. And that is absolutely true. It's so funny because I think about things that I've said over the years, and I always say the movement becomes the medicine when we're talking about like orthopedic injuries and pain. And movement is a medicine. And also, I say, the minute you stop moving, you might as well dig a hole and stick your leg in it because that is where you were headed. Movement, actually, there's so many studies. I'll plop one up. Probably the biggest factor in multiple studies for longevity.
Yeah.
100%.
So let's, all of us from the blue zone, I think one of the things that I really want to empower our audience is not thinking like, hammer my life out on the computer, kids, and then go to the gym angry, working out our tension, and that's our exercise, right? When I think about living in the blue zone and seeing how these people live here, they are constantly, there's a lady, I swear y'all, she's got to be well over 100. Every single time I go to Nosara, I see her sweeping. I don't know why she's always sweeping. And then you just see people walking.
Yes.
We see cars and bikes and everything as a luxury, but I think it's made a sacrifice in our health that we're not moving all the time. And if you want a way to monitor this, my Apple Watch busts me all the time. It'll tell you get up 1 minute out of every hour. And you think that there's no way you sit for 2-3 hours, but you do. So I want to try to shift our audience away from thinking about exercise as just that gym. That's really great for building strength, focusing on neuromuscular activity and things like that. In terms of our overall health, and I want to get into the fascia on that too. Just moving multiplanar, walking, stretching, like every hour. So I would love for you guys to touch on that because I know you do it mindfully.
I would also add to that it is definitely not about going to the gym once a day and you just check like, oh, I already exercise, I already did my movement of the day. It's not about that. That is necessary for sure, but is what you do the rest of your hours in your house. So what has happened recently in the last few years is that because of convenience, then we've become lazy and that we've become more and more sedentary. So when people sweep, when people clean, when they squat, when they do gardening, when they go up the hill, when they ride the horse, like these things are what we refer to constant and consistent movement through the day.
Absolutely. I think
it's
that is a really good challenge. If you don't have your Apple Watch, set an alarm for every hour to go off and then just get up and move, dance, walk around, do a little ecstatic dancing. I would say go get on your horse if you have one or sleep. But I think that's a great challenge of the day.
See, instead of taking the car, go and walk if it's close by. These little decisions, instead of calling somebody to pick up your vegetables, I don't know, go and do it yourself, squat, be in the floor. Instead of asking somebody to do something else for you, go and climb the ladder, put the things down yourself, move the boxes yourself. Like, stop thinking in convenience and start thinking that these inconvenient things or activities are actually the ones that are helping you to have longevity.
This is one of those things that it's so obvious that we don't see anymore. Like everybody's looking for the magic pill, the magic detox, the magic this, the magic that. But this is one of the things that are super simple that can add years to your life.
Well, one of the things I want to insert is the Busmeister Fuller model of tensegrity, because our body is not, particularly from a fascia standpoint, we're not stacked like a Jenga puzzle. Like we have ways that we shift and move. And it's also, almost think of it like wringing of a rag, except for the water stays in it. And in order to get that type of movement, that is not a weight type situation. It's really not even just a yoga type situation. It involves that movement and flushing that fluid through the entire body when we talk about fascia. So that is super important to do it on a regular rhythm for your day. And I think that's something something our ancestors just did naturally and we stopped doing. But I would love to put that awareness in our viewers about that. The other thing that I think is super interesting from a research standpoint, I don't know if you guys have read my recent blogs, but they discovered a new cell called a fasciocyte. So we used to think that the fibroblast was the only thing that laid down collagen or produced the ground substance that is fascia, right? And now with the fasciocyte, we know that it is what is providing the lubrication, the hyaluronic acid. So we actually have two different cells. And what's so fascinating about it is that the fasciocyte is excited, I'll just say, or starts to work based on pressure and also based on stretch. Okay, so that's your movement. You are doing that, and then your stretch. Obviously, we've incorporated fascia yoga. Any type of stretching is good. Even this, right? So we are exciting the fibroblast that way. But for the hyaluronic acid, we have to have shear, right? Shearing of the muscles. That means we have to work our opposing muscles at the same time, which is just not something that you can do in a gym on a traditional weight. So from a fascia standpoint, the fascia blaster is amazing because it does all three of those actions. And one of the things that we know going back to longevity is that when you have pressure, stretch, shear, you're exciting the fasciocyte, you're exciting the fibroblast, it's causing an increase in irisin, which is what we saw in our study, which is directly linked to our telomere. So what I would say, if we look at telomere as our measurement for longevity, chase that all the way back through fascia blasting and into movement and into stretching. And it's like, okay, well, it makes sense why people, our ancestors did so much better with this.
Sure.
And all those things are for free. Like some of the comments we talk or the videos before, it was like breath work or sunlight or movement, those things that are free, that are available for everybody, but because they're free, we don't think they're that important, so we don't do them.
So crazy. Look at our ancestors lived 2, 3, 4. I mean, much longer and much healthier. And even here, again, in the blue zone, they live disease-free over 100. And believe you me, these are not wealthy people.
Mhm.
These are people who don't even have windows on their home, which is probably better, getting the sea breeze, going out there and farming. So it doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, you guys know one of the reasons I try to keep the fascia blasters as cheap as possible is it's like, this is something that I want every single person to have. Yes, there's an investment now in organic vegetables or grow them, yes, there's an investment in fascia blasting, but a one-time investment of $200, I feel good with that. And our water, no, you don't have to go get the Kagan. You can use a filter, but all we're really trying to do is get back to being more natural, being more connected with the lifestyle of our ancestors, right?
Sure. Awesome. All right. So
that was a soapbox for me. Feel free to edit it. I think we might be at 20 minutes now on that.
What do we got? Do we tee up day, or did you want to say anything else?
No, I think
Okay.
that's
Let me close out that one. Okay, so that is a lot of information, maybe too much about movement, but I hope what it does is inspire you to evaluate not only your workout routines, but your entire daily routine and see where you can incorporate natural movement for healthy fascia and healthy cells. All right, we're going to see you guys back here for day 13. Day 13 is all about good sleep. And it's another one of those free and very undervalued things that we all need to really be attentive on. And we'll see you there, day 13.